Red hives are arguably the most well-rounded hives in Beeswarm Simulator, and today I will go over the bees, mutations, amulets, and everything you need to know about what makes the best boosting red hive. This video is being made during the Beesmas 2024 event, so make sure there isn't any updated red hive guides on my channel. I would also not recommend going red if you do not have the dark side or enough honey for a full red hive. If you're coming from mid-game and trying to find your first color, I would highly recommend going blue. This is because you can macro in the Pine Tree Forest to get a bunch of honey to unlock all 50 hive slots and get enough honey for all the mythics you'll need for the red hive. You also don't need the Tide Popper to make good honey, so you don't have to save up for that very expensive tool. However, if you can't macro, I would definitely not recommend going blue, as you will barely make any honey, and I would just stick with red. One final note, I will not be going over B-Quips in this video because Onnit has some unreleased B-Quips he has added to the test run, and I'm unsure when he'll put them into the main game. I'll make a full separate video that will go over everything you'll need to know about B-Quips, sometimes probably within the next couple of months. I'll link the B-Quip video to the end of this video, so if you're interested in that, go check that out. To start, we need to go over how the red hive works. The main component of a red hive are the precise and spicy bees. Precise bees will help with getting red boost tokens that will activate your passive, the Scorching Star. The spicy bees help by putting flames into the field that will grow the Scorching Star and give you more pollen. The flames that the spicy bees give off also help convert your backpack, so that's why that red never needs to make honey at their hive. The base hive that you will have will be 12 precise bees, 8 spicy bees, 8 vector bees, 4 tadpole bees, and 1 buoyant bee. The reason that we're using tadpole bees over the baby bees is because of the blue boost token. Even though they both give off baby love, and that's the only token the baby bee gives off, the boost tokens actually help activate the Scorching Star passive. Onnit recently updated the game and changed how the Scorching Star got activated. Instead of every 30th red boost token, it's now every 30th boost token. So now the blue boost tokens help activate the Scorching Star. That, with the baby love and the extra help from the frogs, is just overall better than the baby bee. Another thing the precise bees can do is activate this precise mark, which gives plus 7% super critical chance and plus 7% crit chance, which is very good. That's also why we have the vector bees, which give off the pollen mark pluses, which give bonus pollen and are really helpful for making a bunch of pollen. The reason for the buoyant bee is because of its gifted hive bonus, which is just extra capacity, and also its B-Quip. I said I wouldn't go over B-Quips in this video, but I'll just go over this one. The reason you want the buoyant bee is because you're going to want to put a kazoo on it, which gives the ability of melody, which is just bonus crit power, which is very good. So you're going to want to have a buoyant bee in your hive. One final note about the bees. If you don't have a fuzzy bee alt, which is an alt account with a bunch of fuzzies, you're going to want to have one gifted fuzzy in your hive. You're probably going to want to take out a precise bee or a vector bee, up to you. Some of these bees you can swap out for other bees, like for example, I only have 7 vector bees instead of 8 because I also have a vicious bee in my hive, which is nice for the attack and also the monster respawn time. You're most likely going to want to have a fuzzy bee in your hive if you don't have a fuzzy alt, so you're probably going to want to swap out either a vector bee, or if you have like what I have and you only have 7 vectors, I would swap out a precise bee, because having 6 vectors is too little. You're obviously going to want to have everything gifted, but it's very important to have all your precise and spicy gifted first, because that will earn you the most honey at the start. You're also going to want to make sure to have all the rare and epic bees that are listed in this, because it's very important, as their hive bonuses are really good, and also they're very important for B-Quips. Alright, enough about the hive, let's move on to mutations. If you're just starting out, I wouldn't worry much about the mutations, because their bonuses won't make a huge impact as other parts of the build will. They're still important, so don't forget about them though. On both your spicy and precise bees, the best mutation is bee ability rate, but you have a less than 1% chance of getting this as a mutation, so the second best is move speed. Another great mutation to have is on your digital. Some of you may not have digital, but that's okay. The best mutation for digital is percentage gather amount. And if you have plus 25% or more on your digital bee, the smiley tokens that it spawns will give you a huge amount of pollen when you're boosting, so definitely keep an eye out for that. Another important mutation to have is on your vectors you want move speed, as this is going to make your triangulate a lot better and collect a lot more pollen. After that, every other bee that I didn't mention, you're going to want either bee ability rate, or bar, or attack. Enough about the actual hive. Let's move on to amulets. Amulets play a huge part in making honey, probably the second most important thing, so I'll go over each amulet and what stat to get on the amulet. Starting with the most important amulet, the Supreme Star Amulet, or SSA. You're going to want pollen, red pollen, bee gather pollen, bee ability rate, and critical chance. For the passives, you're going to want Scorching Star and Star Saw. If you can't afford a double passive, just starting with the Scorching Star is fine, but you're going to want the Star Saw with it eventually. Next is the Ant Amulet. You're going to want Convert Rate, which is guaranteed, Crit Chance, Crit Power, Bee Attack, Red Pollen, and White Pollen. On the King Beetle Amulet, you're going to want Convert Rate, which is also guaranteed, 1 Bee Attack, Mushroom Field Pollen, and Strawberry Field Pollen. On the Moon Amulet, you want Bond from Treats because you'll most likely be leveling up your hive, and Honeybird Pollen. You also have a chance of getting Ticket Chance and Movement Collection in addition to the other 2 buffs. However, these buffs are very rare, so I wouldn't bother going for them or prioritizing them. Next is the Shell Amulet, and you're going to want Pollen, Goo Conversion, Cactus, Clover, and Pumpkin Pollen. Now, the fields don't matter too much because you're not going to be boosting in any of them, but those fields just have the most red flowers. On your Stickbug Amulet, you want Red Bee Attack, Red Pollen, Bee Attack, and Bee Attack Power. You can get Pollen Turn tools on this amulet too, which is another rare buff, and I wouldn't recommend prioritizing it at all. Last but not least, we have the Supreme Cog Amulet, which most of you probably won't have, including me. I only have the Diamond. But these buffs apply to both Supreme and Diamond Cog Amulet. You're going to want Bee Attack, Red Pollen, Markability Pollen, Super Crit Power, and Instant Red Conversion. That pretty much covers the last of the amulets, but one final note before we get on to boosting. I'd highly prioritize the Supreme Star Amulet before any other amulet. The SSA and getting the double passives is what will give you the most honey, so don't worry if the other amulets aren't perfect. First of all, if you have a Fuzzy Alt and a Digital Bee, you're going to want to boost in the Rose or Strawberry, Rose being the best. This is because the Rose can fit up to 15 dupe tokens, and the Straw and Pepper can only fit 12. For those of you that don't have Digital Bee, the duped tokens are these little things that appear above the field right here. Have a Fuzzy Alt and a Digital Bee, try boosting in the Strawberry or Rose, but if not, just boost in the Pepper. To start off your boost, you're going to want to have a 4 times field boost. Now, how I'd recommend doing that is I would use a glitter at the start. I'll just show you. So I'll use a glitter and then put it in your hotbar. Now, after this 15 minutes goes down to, I don't know, maybe 14 minutes and 30 seconds, that's when you're going to want to use your loaded dice. Because when you use your loaded dice, hold on, let me get Pepper. See that 4 times? It's going to run out in 15 minutes, but if you waited for your glitter to go down to 14 minutes, then you can just use the glitter again and refresh the 4 times boost, so you won't have to use more loaded dice. The first thing you want to do to start your boost, even before the 4 times boost, is use the Wind Shrine. To have the highest chance of getting Pepper Winds, you're going to want to donate a purple potion. Right here. Now, I got very, very unlucky and didn't get a single red field. But usually you will get Pepper, or at least any red field. If you don't get Pepper and you get like Strawberry or Mushroom or Rose, I'd still use it and boost in those, as you're going to make a good amount of honey, just maybe not as much as the Pepper. Another thing you can do with the Wind Shrine is, instead of donating a purple potion, you can try and donate a gold egg. This will give you better wins, like 10 times or 11 times, but will have a smaller chance of giving you the field that you want. So if you're trying to boost in Pepper, you may not get Pepper, or if you're trying to boost in Pine or whatever, you probably won't get Pine, so just keep that in mind. Now that you have your wins, that's when you're going to want to activate your 4 times boost. So remember to do the glitter thing and then use the loaded dice. This is so when the 4 times is about to run out, you can use the glitter to refresh it, so you can use all of your wins time, because the wins last 30 minutes, but the 4 times boost only lasts 15 minutes. During your boost, you're going to want to try and keep up 10 times precision. Now, you get the precision from hitting all the marks from the precise bees when they activate their ability, so you're going to want to try to keep this at 10 times during the entire boost. Also, you want to keep your focus at 10 times, which you also get from the precise marks. So like when you hit these targets, they give you precision, but then they also drop these focus tokens, so it's pretty easy to keep your focus up, but really focus on the precision, because that's like very, very important. Once you have your 10 times precision, you want to then start only hitting the purple mark at the end. The purple mark is what will activate the precise marks, and they give a bunch of extra crit chance and super crit chance. So you're going to want to get those, as many of those as you can, but remember to keep your precision up. So you can get the marks, but then remember every now and then to go over all of the marks to pick up another precision. You should also try and have 10 times red boost, which you get from not hitting targets. So if you're trying to get a bunch of marks, what's nice is not only do you get the mark, but the other 2 marks you didn't hit will turn into red boost tokens instead of focus tokens. So that'll help you get your Scorching Star up, and that's just bonus red pollen. So the red boost tokens are also very important. Once you get your 30th boost token, that's going to activate Scorching. Now, once you get Scorching, you're going to probably want to activate your Star Saw. So, unless you have a lot of stingers, you always want Star Saw on, but if you don't have a lot of stingers, I would only have Star Saw active when the Scorching Star is active. You're going to also want to try your best to time the Scorching Star with your X-Flame. So, I just used my X-Flame, and bam, I just got my Scorching, so I didn't time that very well. But the reason you want the X-Flame is because it just puts a bunch of flames on the field, and the way the Scorching Star grows is by standing near the flames. So when you're in the flames, the Scorching Star goes up, and that just gives you just a bunch of extra red pollen, convert rate, conversion links. I mean, it's just very, very good. So you're going to want to stand in as many flames as possible while also keeping up your precision and staying in the mark totems and all that. You're going to want to try and keep as many marks up as you can and be standing in them, because the more marks you have around the field, the more area the field will be covered in marks, so the more you'll have the mark abilities, which overall is just very, very good and will give you a bunch of extra honey. If you do all these to the best of your ability and stay in the marks and keep up your precision and keep up your focus tokens, you should make a really good amount of honey. A couple of extra things is remember to have as much nectar as possible. I don't have any nectar right now, but the nectar will give you such a huge boost. The most important nectar is the invigorating nectar, so make sure you try and have 24 hours of that before your boost. If not, that's okay, but you are missing out on a lot of honey if you don't have your invigorating nectar up. There's also 2 other nectars you should try and have at least 12 hours of. It's the motivating and the refreshing. This just will give a bunch of extra red pollen, extra convert rate, B-ability rate. They're just both very good for boosting, so try and have 24 hours of invigorating and at least 12 hours of motivating and refreshing. Best case scenario is you have 24 hours of all 5 nectars, but if you can't, and I know that's pretty hard, especially without a macro, that's okay. Some other items to keep in mind is to try and use your super smoothies when you're about to boost, and using your sticker stack that was recently added. That's all the way over there. So right before your boost, try to activate a super smoothie if you can and use the sticker stack. This pretty much covers everything you need to know about red. This was a pretty in-depth guide, and I'd like to remind you guys that it's okay if you don't have every perfect mutation and perfect amulet stat that I listed. It's just simply what the best stats possible are, so it's okay if you don't have them perfect. One thing that I didn't go over were the B-quips, which I will be making an in-depth guide about pretty soon, probably within the next couple of months, so stay tuned for that. I'll also have a link in my description of the sources where I found out all of this info, so if you want to check that out, that'll be there. But that's pretty much it. Thank you guys for watching, and have a good rest of your day.